I spoke with Representative Doris Goodale, the sponsor of the bill to get rid of the Ames test, and I found out what this could mean for the thousands of students who rely on the Ames scholarship to go to college. According to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, there are about 400,000 wartime veterans living in the state of Arizona. Tonight, over 300 people will be marching in support of same-sex marriage. Now, the human equal rights organizers, also known as HERO, will be marching from the Cesar Chavez Plaza to here at the federal courthouse here in downtown Phoenix. Now, I spoke to a representative from HERO, and this is what he had to say about tonight's march. The American Academy of Pediatrics now recommends sending parents and their kids home instead of prescribing treatment for mild illnesses like an ear infection. I went out to find out the reason behind this change and how it may affect patient care. The school buses that already have seatbelts carry cutters to help get students out in emergency situations. Así es, Oscar. Hay dos proyectos de ley que proponen que uno no puede ayudar a otro a entregar su boleta de elección y otro que obliga a menos participantes en el derecho de votar temprano. The new exam is being created to correlate with the Arizona Common Core curriculum, which is a higher math and language arts standard that is already being taught in some schools across Arizona. Reporting live from the newsroom, Minerva Ruelas, Cronkite News.
Welcome to Cronkite News Watch. I'm Brian Wise.
And I'm Minerva Ruelas. Thank you for watching. Owners gathered at the Capitol to propose a new bill that would allow only two kinds of furry friends to dine with their owners. Cronkite News reporter Marissa Scott has the details. Teenagers texting while driving. It's a worry lots of parents face every day. But now there is a bill that might help relieve some of that stress and make Arizona's streets a little safer. And speaking of passengers, Cronkite News reporter Sydney Coates is live at Sky Harbor with a look at what travelers can expect in the coming months. Cities across the valley are trying to keep a close eye on the bottom line as they try to emerge from the recession, and some are doing better than others. Officials say that there has been a decrease in cocaine smuggling, but an increase in synthetic drugs. There are twice as many Border Patrol agents today as there were in 2004. For many Valley residents, it could be tough to find the money to afford dental care. But reporter Laura Dickerson takes us to one event that's given children a good reason to smile. America's toughest sheriff has long been a supporter of tough immigration laws, but the new immigration proposal could push policy in a different direction. Now, the issue of border security brought a top federal official to the Valley today. World War II planes flew into Arizona today for an event that hopes to bring revenue to the Valley. But as Cronkite reporter Alice Klein-Peter discovered, these events are becoming more than some airfields can afford. Protesters argue the two bills are aimed at decreasing the number of minority voters and hope that their efforts can get lawmakers to work for them instead of what they say is against them. In the city of Yuma, fewer undocumented immigrants are seen crossing the border each year, but they still come.
I feel sorry for them because they're not legal here, and the only thing I feel very good because they only come to work over here. That's all they want.
Juan Campusino, a citrus and vegetable farmer, is one of many U.S. citizens working side by side with people who cross the U.S.-Mexico border hoping to reach the American dream.
There was a guy and a lady and 3 kids on citrus, and they had 2 days there.
Campusino says he tries to give a helping hand, but ultimately feels that illegal crossings are not worth the risk.
So I told him, just stay in Mexico until you fix your papers, come legally here.
And that's exactly what Yuma Border Patrol agent Enrique Zarate is working toward.
In 2005, Yuma sector for that fiscal year apprehended 138,438 people. In fiscal year 2012, Yuma sector apprehended 6,500 people.
What you see here is groups of people crossing the Yuma sector in 2005, right before major infrastructure changes were made. Here at the Yuma sector, since Operation Jumpstart in 2006, 3 layers of fencing has allowed them to reach a 90% success rate, making it the safest it's ever been. But the mayor of Yuma says he doesn't see the issue getting fully resolved on a national level anytime soon.
The government of the United States needs to enforce the laws that are in place and agree that our laws are important.
But Juan Campusino believes no law will stop anyone who truly wants to be here.
They don't care about if they change any laws or they put some new laws, whatever. the people's gonna still crossing the border.
In Yuma, Minerva Ruelas, Cronkite News. The yellow school bus, a cherished tradition from generation to generation, but one lawmaker believes it's time for a big upgrade.
I'm just wondering how many parents, wonder about it when they put their child on a bus. Do they think about, the child's not being buckled in?
McGuire introduced Senate Bill 1397, which will require all newly purchased school buses in Arizona to be equipped with lap belts. She went to great lengths to understand the safety issue herself.
So I worked for a school district for a year as a bus driver to validate or disprove the opposition that was being stated.
Now, opponents in the past have argued that although seatbelts are as easy as a grab and snap, it can be difficult for students to get out of emergency situations. Another reason why the requirement failed to pass previously is because the large cushion seatbacks on school buses can protect a child, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
But in the event of a rollover, the statistics show that those seat backs aren't beneficial. You need to be confined and seatbelted into the seat in order to reduce risk injury and fatality.
The Phoenix Union High School District made its decision a long time ago. It's had buses with belts since 1996.
From a cultural standpoint, we've gotten so used to putting seat belts on that when you go into a vehicle that doesn't have a seat belt, you kind of wonder, how come this doesn't have a seat belt?
If the bill is passed, all school buses purchased after January 1st, 2014 must have seatbelts. World War II and Korea, Vietnam and the Gulf War, Afghanistan and Iraq. While all these wars have their differences, they all share a similarity.
We could hardly wait until the plane closed the doors, and then we start to roll, and come on, get it up, let's go, let's get this. And then the minute it took off, you could just, I'm getting goosebumps. You could just hear it, yes, we're on our way home.
Well done, sailor.
Thousands of soldiers, men and women, come home. Coming home is a part of war itself. And when men and women come home, they come home changed, scarred, and often with memories that haunt them for the rest of their lives. Former Marine Giovanni Arrudia served in Iraq and finds being home again a struggle in ways he could not imagine.
But I remember I had a hard time making friends in that freshman, sophomore year because I was older than everybody, because I was the veteran.
The coming home ritual is never the same. For Korean War veteran Carl Orth, to be of service for the country was respected. Wars in the 40s and 50s were popular wars, and the soldiers in those wars more respected.
And in December of '50, my draft number was coming up, so I joined the Navy. My two older brothers had been in the Navy, and I was following their footsteps.
When Carl came home, he remembers being welcomed by everyone.
The Korean population, which moved into the United States, never quit thanking us. They have dinners for us and invite us to their ceremonies and things and make us feel real good.
President, the only hot war we've got running at the moment is, of course, the one in Vietnam.
And then there was Vietnam. The veterans of the Vietnam War experienced an American society that seemed to have forgotten how to welcome its warriors home.
They more or less treated us as second and third class citizens. They would throw things at us. They would, of course, curse at us. They called us baby killers. So I just walked on.
For them, there were no parades, no thank yous, but eggs thrown, names called, and uniforms burned.
When you come home, you expect to be treated as not heroes, but veterans, you know? You've done a service for our country, and now our country should do the service for you.
Sit with them together, And you realize that for all their differences in the wars they fought, it is what they share that connects them.
I feel like there's a great amount of appreciation, especially, and I think you'll find this as far as the Marine Corps goes, huge amount of respect for Korean War veterans, and that the Forgotten War is definitely something that we do talk about.
I think we had a hard time understanding why we went in the first place, but that's nothing to take away from what our veterans did. All they did was follow orders.
Korea, Vietnam, Iraq. Coming home exists for every soldier. At times, it seems to have been easier to send them off than knowing how to welcome them home. Así fue como alzaron su voz defensores quienes abogan por el derecho de votar para miembros de grupos minoritarios.
Voting Rights Protection Day.
Voluntarios de varias organizaciones han gritado tan fuerte hasta declarar el 21 de marzo como Día de la Protección del Voto Minoritario. Aunque está esta unión de muchos grupos minoritarios para abogar el derecho de votar, hay dos proyectos de ley que van en contra de esta posición. La propuesta de ley 1261 haría más difícil mantenerse en la lista de votación temprana y la SB 1003 clasifica a una persona que envía la boleta electoral de otra persona como un delincuente de clase 6. Esto ha sido una gran digresión para personas como Cristian Avila, quien se esforzó por conseguir que muchos votantes de minorías participaran en la elección pasada.
Las conversaciones se fueron a, mijo, qué bueno que llegaste, ya me llegó la boleta, ¿ahora qué hago? Todas esas conversaciones son ahora positivas y es por eso que se miró tanto el poder hispano en las últimas elecciones presidenciales.
Y es esa misma actitud la que pide de los demás.
Necesitan que venir a la mesa y a votar.
Algo que el representante Lupe Contreras está de acuerdo.
Ahorita ellos tienen los números para pasar cualquier bill que ellos traigan a la mesa, pero nosotros no podemos nomás parar y no pelear por lo que nosotros creemos que es bien.
En Phoenix, Minerva Ruelas, Cronkite News Watch en español.